Did you see Jerry's pet squirrel?
Yeah.
Show what it is, Tony. What is it?
Well, I think it's chocolate pecan pie. It unless it's just chocolate pie with pecans on it.
What do they feed you guys on the sessions?
Who's you guys?
All you fellas. Hi, Chris.
Hi.
This
What,
session in particular, they feed us
Yeah,
look who else is here.
As well.
Look who else is here.
Jerome.
Germ.
It depends on where it is, right? Like, if you're at Sound Emporium, you have Martin's. If you snuck your way into Southern Ground, you have Desano's.
Desano's?
Yeah.
And draft beer.
Yeah.
Look, open my front door.
It all depends.
That's Jiminy.
Oh.
So check this out. This is me before the session feeding Jiminy from my hand. It's my pet squirrel.
That's cute.
That's awesome.
That's cute. What are we doing this week, guys? At the Blackbirds. Look at this Blackbird studio. This is the lounge in the D room. What are we doing, Chris? Tell them.
We are making a record
Yes.
with a guy named Chris Donahoe.
Which is very similar to your name.
It's very similar. It's very confusing. And there's a Chris Donahue bass player.
Is it really?
Yeah, who I've driven to his house in East Nashville to pick up my checks for the union because they went to the wrong place. It's real
Amazing.
confusing.
Have you worked on Chris's records in the past? This is my second one, right?
This is
My second one.
I think it's your third.
Third one? Remember the last time we tried to do one of these? I
Yeah,
had
you got
that
you got
terrible
SARS
illness.
virus.
Yeah, that was my second one.
You got COVID before it was a thing.
I think I did. It
No.
was the weirdest illness of my
So
entire
ahead of
life.
your
And then you
time.
got it, right, Jerry?
Yeah.
Wait.
After getting fully vaccinated.
No, you didn't get the H1N1 like him though.
Did you get that thing
You,
you
you
got?
thought you had swine flu.
Oh, Lord.
Oh,
was,
God.
Whatever
Remember
it was
Yeah,
terrible.
I'm pretty picky about my
Okay, so
viruses.
that's the story. The story
Yeah,
is
yeah.
Tom was playing on the first round with
Right.
Chris
Which is
Donahoe.
this is well before COVID.
Well before COVID.
Yes.
He believes he contracted the swine flu.
I think
Probably
it was H1N1.
H1N1.
Yeah, bird flu.
Bird flu.
Right.
Oh, the bird flu.
Right.
Then Chris Donegan comes
Avian
in.
flu, is that what it is?
Chris Donegan comes in and
I
replaces
don't know.
Tom.
That's right.
Remember that?
Yeah. That was one of my first.
Over at Ocean Way.
And you
Yeah.
made
One of my first rescue missions.
Jerry was already around. Already around.
Right.
Yeah.
So then they bring Chris in to fill in for Tom.
Yeah.
And now both made such a good impression on
No,
Chris
we're all-
Donahoe.
they were all
All
here.
three of the guys are here.
So we got bass, guitar, and then I'm guitar.
And two
three
keyboard
guitars.
players.
Now,
Two guitars.
you know, people think that's crazy to have three guitar players on a session, but really,
That's
in the
Molly
end,
Hatchet.
well, and also in the end, by the time you put overdubs on, you end up with
You end up with more than
6
that.
or 7 guitar players. I
I
think.
think-
Good point.
I
So
think
why
we're-
not have 3 guitar players?
I think have any of us done overdubs?
Yeah, we haven't done many overdubs,
Yeah.
and we don't have to because, like, what's the typical approach? How do you approach when you got 3 guitar players?
Yeah.
3. What's the approach usually on a session?
Well, I think you guys have to really be listening to one another.
Big ears, yeah.
Yeah.
Big ears, right? Yeah.
Big ears, low ego.
Big ego, big
Low
ears.
ego.
Big ego, low ears.
Yeah, and if you
That's
have
what I
like a
mean.
strong thing that's just like, man, this would be good for this, you lay it out there,
Right.
see if it happens. And if you don't have a strong idea, you listen to see what other guys are doing, and
Right.
then you fall in.
That's right.
And then
Fall
when you
in
lay
line.
your strong idea out there and it gets mowed over by a weaker idea,
God, I hate that.
you just be the bigger man
Right.
and you move to something else.
When you guys were younger, okay, I know we've all transcended beyond this point. I talked with Tim Pierce about this a little bit. When let's just say you're on the session, I'm asking all you cats. This is a great bass player here, so slightly out of the guitar realm, but still strings.
True.
When you come up with when you're on a session, and you come up with a part, right, on a song, and you know that feeling when you're searching, and then you find something, and you're like, fuck, this is cool. This is cool.
Yeah.
Like, I'm really glad I found this, and then you start tweaking it. And then, like, you're really getting into it, thinking, I'm kicking ass right now.
Yeah.
I found a cool part that's making the track. And then you got that head of steam going, and then all of a sudden you hear that thing over the talkback. Hey, Book, hey, Jerry, Tony. Man, I don't know about that thing you're doing.
And you've invested in
And
it.
you've invested
and then you
in
can't hear
it,
anything
and
else.
you can't hear anything else.
Anything that's like all you can hear is your part, and it's been muted. It's
And
just
it's
like,
either right. And now you have to reinvent yourself.
yeah.
Yeah.
This is where got to be a big boy.
Yeah.
And when I talked about this in the past. When I was younger, I would throw little fits, and I would not attack the part that they suggested with the same vigor
Yes.
that I attacked the part that
Just
I
to
had
prove
come
it was
up
a
with.
dumb
Do you ever-
idea.
Do you ever do that?
I've self-sabotaged.
I don't do that because,
Did you do it when you were a kid?
yeah, I think I did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I
my
think it's
dad's
just
band.
part of growing, right?
Yeah, I think so.
This is part of
But I
growing.
had it done to me a bunch by
Right.
a friend in the band who was playing another instrument,
Right.
drummer. And I realized I never want to be that way.
Right.
So I try to.
You gotta be a man, and you gotta come up with
Yeah.
you gotta come at the new part with the same horsepower.
Yeah.
But those
Yeah.
parts you're talking about that get nixed,
Yeah.
those are usually, you think of it with that young thought of, I'm going to make me look good.
Sure.
And when you finally switch over and start
Sure.
thinking, I'm going to make the song look good,
Right.
you usually come up with better stuff.
Yes. I've been.
It also those are the parts. Those are always the parts where everybody in the band looks at each other and we're like, we're on it, and then the talkback happens. That's what happens.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I remember one time. I remember Daniel Tashin had us over at Sound Emporium working on a Burt Bacharach record. Right. This is about a year and a half, 2 years ago. And you know that feeling. You know, you hand the song, right? And
Was Bert there?
Burt was there,
Okay.
and 80 something, 90 something. I don't know. He was
Yeah.
still great.
Good guy.
Great guy. And so, you know, one of his beautiful tunes that he wrote with Daniel, we go out there and we start playing it. And you know how it's like jumping in a pool. You see what everybody's playing, and you all sort of orchestrate something on the fly, and then all of a sudden it starts to turn into something. And the first couple of takes, you're like, okay,
Yeah.
this is happening. I'm loving this tempo. I'm liking this. We got some cool parts cooking. And then you're nobody's said anything in the talkback yet. You don't know what they're thinking in the control room, and you start playing this thing, and then you start thinking, I'm really liking this. God, I hope they like this too, because it would break my heart if we're out here playing this, and then they say, you know, no, God. So we're out there cooking on this thing, and then the last chord rings out, and I'm just waiting for the voice from Mission Control. And sure enough, man, Bert gets on the talkback. He's like, guys, I was imagining this totally different.
And it's Burt
And
Bacharach.
it's Burt
What are you going to
Bacharach,
say?
right? And then you have to like, oh.
You're wrong, Bert.
And I was like really hoping he was going to like it. And then he completely reinvented what everybody was playing.
Oh.
And it was so much better
That's why he-
than what we had. It was so much, you know that feeling?
Yeah.
And then you feel like the idiot for liking what you were originally doing. All right, so
Did I tell you how I got him to assign all his publishing to me? Burt Bacharach. I worked with him a day in the studio. It was for it was a movie. It was a Danny DeVito, Bette Midler movie.
yeah,
And so
Who's these people?
well, it's Burt Bacharach, music editor, director, and we were at the Bennett House
yeah, great
all
old
day,
studio.
all day at the Bennett House.
Yeah,
And Burt was so charming, so much fun to work with.
sure.
And at the end of the day, I was like, man, before I left, I was like, Bert, can I get your autograph? I mean, this is cheesy, but can I get your autograph?
Yeah.
He goes, well, sure, Jerry. Yeah, you know. And I had a legal pad, and I had the paper folded over, and he signed, Burt Bacharach to Jerry, Burt Bacharach. And I lifted the paper up that was above it,
Right.
and I had written, I, Burt Bacharach, hereby assign all my publishing and royalties to my dear friend Jerry McPherson. And I let him read it, and he goes, I'll have my lawyer get in touch with you.
Yeah, sure. What a great guy, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
awesome guy.
he's so cool, man. He's so cool.
Yeah.
All right, so I don't want to get this little video too long. I want to ask a couple questions. Okay, I've been struggling lately with a beer that I could get next to because Rolling Rock is unavailable bottles.
What do you
I'm
mean?
trying
What do
all
you mean
this
it's
out
unavailable?
to you can't get it anymore.
That's not true.
It's a fact. It is unavailable
In bottles.
in bottles. You can still get it in cans, but the cans are undrinkable.
Do you think you drank all of them?
Well, Jerry Rose said that it was because there's a glass shortage.
Wow.
You can't get there. It's not like they stopped making it. But
These are green bottles.
Well, I know.
Yeah, these are
It's not as good of a
Okay,
beer.
now
though.
here's the thing.
No, but I'm just
I
saying
mean,
the glasses.
I'll drink this, but it's rock gut, man. It kills my
I
gut.
know.
It just tears me up.
It's not worth it.
It's not worth it, right? So, Tony, back in your heavy beer drinking days, which ended recently,
This time.
This time.
what was your brand of choice?
Well, this last time I was going with the heavy shit.
What was that?
Well, I was going with IPAs.
Space Dust.
Space Dust. Elysian Brewing Company out of Seattle.
Right.
And I actually found I would have less rot gut
With that
issues.
shit, yeah. I
Yeah,
get
but
you. Yeah.
because I think it's better quality.
This stuff will tear you to pieces right here. It'll tear you up.
Yeah, but it won't make you fat like Space Dust.
Right, that's true.
Hmm.
Right.
Well, it will.
Right.
It just
You're more of a bourbon guy, yeah?
No, you know what?
When
we
you
were
drink
out-
alone, depressed at home, what do you drink?
Yeah. Anything that's available. But remember, when we were out on the road, they would always have Stellas, and I got used to drinking Stellas.
Right, I got you.
Stella
Okay.
for a fella.
Stella for a fellow.
Yeah.
Okay, what about you, man?
beer socially only
Social-
for my whole
oh,
life. Like,
for-
if you hand me a beer, I'll drink it. I will never buy beer for myself.
Is that right?
he was a bourbon man.
What if someone comes over to visit? You don't have any beer in the fridge? Like
I don't have any beer in the fridge.
Like a good host?
No, I don't,
I don't have any beer in the fridge either.
Really?
No beer
I
in
had
the
a,
fridge.
I had
I
a,
have beer in the
assholes.
fridge.
I had a real love for the brown liquor in my 20s.
Okay, so what do you drink?
I drank primarily like Bullet Rye
Okay.
or Bushmills.
Okay.
Some of
You
the
know-
Irish brown.
Okay. See, I can't. You like the brown,
No, I like vodka.
but you drink brown whiskey.
I'll drink anything, but I like vodka the most. I mean, vodka's my favorite.
Remember the video we made a long time ago where you were talking about the gambling losses in Atlantic
Yeah,
City?
people got mad about
People
it. Your fans got mad about it.
The
Some of your
homeschoolers.
friends.
Some of them got a little amped up about
Yeah.
that.
Well, whoever commented on your post and said that it was bullshit now, get back out there and lose it all, they were right.
Is that right?
Well, I didn't lose it all, but I lost a lot of it. So fuck that guy.
All right, I was gonna make a video down the road called. Tell me if you think this is a stupid idea, but I just think I thought it would be funny as hell to make a video called "How to Hang with Cats."
How to hang with
How to
cats.
hang with cats, and like what I wanted to talk about was things. How do I put this? Things that a younger cat who doesn't know the sort of etiquette and all the unwritten, unspoken rules of hanging with cats
Yeah.
will do.
Should we shoot you want me and Jerry to enact one that you shouldn't do?
I mean, like anything you could think of.
What that you shouldn't do?
Yeah, like what are some of the things that are dead giveaway red flags when a young cat that hasn't really been around?
I know. Let me
Okay,
just say, when I
okay.
first started doing country stuff,
yeah.
you know, when Dan Huff started producing,
Yes.
he would say, you know, like, I'm busy, but hey, if you need something that's kind of pop but right for country, call Jerry. So I started
Right.
getting called. I was on a Reba session. We were all in the lounge on a lunch break, and they brought in food, and Reba was there, and I had not learned how to hang with the country bunch
Right.
so much, and the TV was on, and I was like, and there was country music videos, and I was like, who's that? And Paul Lime said, Jerry, that's the largest selling act in country music. And I was like, oh, shut up. So just shut up, and you're halfway there.
Yeah, start with shutting up.
Don't ask questions.
What do you think, Chris? The unspoken, unwritten rules of etiquette. Can I throw one out?
Mm-hmm.
Let me throw one out. Tell me if you guys relate to this. I've noticed
Sure.
that anytime anybody ever has told me, unsolicited, that they play an instrument, it's led to disaster. If my advice would be to never tell anyone unless they drag it out of you that you play an instrument. Would you agree with this? Does it make any sense?
Yeah, because everybody wants to work, right? Like none
Right.
of us don't want to work. And
Right.
So if you if you tell everybody all the time
That
you're
you
super interested
play,
in working,
right.
it's like, okay,
It's definitely a red flag.
yeah, it smells, right? Like it's,
And if you're good enough, somebody else will mention the fact that you play,
yeah,
and it doesn't have to be you, right?
yeah.
What do some of these young cats do on sessions in other cities you've worked in, not Nashville, that make you crazy?
That make me crazy?
Yes.
I'll give you one.
Okay.
Well, back in the day, it used to be that you start from the ground up.
Yeah.
So bass and drums would get their take before everybody else is jumping in to do fixes.
Sure.
That's pretty annoying.
Well, the old rule, and it still stands in my book,
I think, yeah.
is that when you're working on the track, when you get done, there may be some repairs that need to happen, but the first people that are supposed to be fixing are the drummer and the bass player.
Yes.
Right.
And that, and when you see some of these young cats, guitar players, keyboard players that jump in before the drums are repaired, oh Lord.
Before
It's
the
like-
take exists, right?
Yeah.
Before
Even
the drum
before
take
the
exists.
take exists.
Almost like it came
Before it's
straight.
been decided what take we're even going with here.
It's like it came straight from Russia. I'm saying, like, you know.
It just happened. It just happened. Okay, so
No, and here's the thing, like they want to be like, you don't understand how hard it is. I gotta get so many parts. I hear that all the time from guitar players. I'm like,
Right.
no, I do understand.
Right.
I do understand it. It sucks, but I didn't choose your instrument, so fuck off.
right, exactly. So the accepted way for many decades has been drummer and bass player fix first, especially the drummer, even more than the bass
Yep,
player.
yes.
When you say
Yeah, for
Drummer
sure.
first.
and then you start because that's your boiler room, that's your foundation. You want that to be right. And then what's the point of fixing shit to an incorrect drum track or right? But some of these cats don't get that, and then they start layering parts. Keep what I just did. Let me add something before we've even decided what take we're
You did
keeping.
that this morning.
Before
Yes, I did.
He did not
I
do that.
did.
That's my Jerry. You don't talk to him like that.
That's different though.
You don't
Because
talk to
Jerry's
him.
parts.
Totally different.
Well, his parts don't really. He doesn't really count. He just plays.
Can I brag about this guy for 1 second? Can I just tell you guys a story? You may not even know. Okay, how many years ago when I almost cut my finger off?
Oh God.
Do you guys see this
That was
grossly
2008.
mutated middle finger I have? It was a
Nine?
terrible.
I've got a picture of it. Have you ever shared your
I don't
picture
even- I
of it?
don't have a picture
Oh,
of it.
I have a picture of it
Look
somewhere.
at how terrible that. This finger got mutilated.
Were you there when it happened?
No,
No, but
thank God.
let me just tell you what this guy did. Okay, 6 months I couldn't play. I never thought I was going to play again.
Oh.
God, you guys know how like a road case has those extruded aluminum lips, and it
Yes.
got smashed by a 400 or 500 pound item. And when I went to the emergency room that night, the doctor said, "Man, there's just nothing to stitch to."
Oh, I didn't know he said that.
It was a Neve sidecar,
A
right?
Neve sidecar smashed his finger. I had to have elective surgery done.
Probably 300 pounds, right?
It was
At least.
just, oh, dude, it was terrible. I never thought I was going to play again, for real.
Yeah,
and then
you
it took
started
6
playing
months to
slide, right?
recover. So the day after it happened, I was still living in my old house in Bellevue, and I sent out a mass email to, just all my basic contacts. It said, terrible accident, probably won't be able to work. I had to cancel. I had a fucking Robin Zander record on the books, I remember, and I had to cancel. And I sent that email, hit send, and I'm just sitting there in my lonely house. Sarah and I were together at the time. And 20 minutes later, right through the front door, no knock, no nothing. Jerry McPherson, where is he? Let me see him.
Oh my God.
I'll never forget it, buddy. Just came right over.
I'll never forget that.
Oh, dude. That's why you and I are going to be standing around each other's caskets, buddy. Oh, this is good. This is a tight group here.
This is a tight group. This is
Yeah.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how much fun is this session?
Oh man.
12?
It's a 12, right?
Yeah.
You know what's great about this session is that not only are we playing cool music, but they treat us like we're special.
yeah. Actually, today
You know,
Chris is bringing in masseuse. Did you know that?
is he really?
Yeah.
Bringing him a sense?
I'm not making that up.
And he lets us sit around and talk. We love to talk.
About life.
We just love to
About
talk.
tenderness and
Yeah.
gratuity.
And then when we go to play
Gratitude.
music, man, it's
Gratuity.
20% minimum.
That doesn't even make sense, sir.
One of the things I'll say about Chris Donegan over here, this is probably the longest homeschooling ever. I will say about Chris Donegan is you're a young man. How old are you, Chris?
37.
Okay. And you have how many daughters?
4.
Okay. Try to imagine that, people.
4 daughters, right?
4
Try.
daughters.
Hey.
And here's our
what
producer,
would be-
Tim Lauer,
Hours here.
who is the
I
guy.
feel like I just got
Huh?
rescued.
You're in 20 minutes into
Am I on the
homeschooling.
show?
You're on the show.
Yeah, we're on the show.
Amazing.
We're just talking
This
about.
is an interesting point in a session where the food, the lunch thing comes up.
Yeah. And we take the lunch
We're not that
order
hungry,
seriously.
right?
Right, and we're all going out to a very nice dinner tonight.
Yeah.
So we have to be mindful.
I'm not going to eat until.
I'm not gonna eat.
Not going to eat?
No.
That's not on Tim's.
And then I'm going to go hard.
You don't want a little salad or something?
Yeah,
Yellow pork?
maybe you should bring in some grapes and salad around 3.
You want someone to feed you the grapes?
Who wants to eat?
Nobody wants to eat.
Hey, one of my favorite
No.
happenings in this show is when
Yeah.
Tom asked Bruce Boughton, what steel players eat for a snack? That was good.
Hey Tim, what's the
Apple
biggest
burger.
what's the biggest like one of the biggest no-nos for like people on sessions?
Right. We were just talking about like
Young guys.
what's an unspoken etiquette
Players,
thing?
not camera crews.
Young cats will do and make a fool of themselves in front of established cats, and they don't even realize they're doing it.
What about making fun of somebody's lyrics
Well-
like you do all the time?
I think one thing is giving the producer unnecessary options.
Yes.
Hey, I'm
that's
gonna play a 3-pick. Here's a real thin one. Here's a medium one. Here's a hard one. It's just,
Right.
why don't you pick it?
Right.
You know,
Or hey man, you like this pickup or this pickup?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's okay sometimes if you know
Yeah.
that producer knows,
Right.
and it is a real thing. But otherwise, just pick it.
Just keep going.
It's
Just get moving.
oftentimes, don't
you
you
know-
think that's you're trying to seem like you care so much?
That's what I'm saying.
Right? Like
Ugh.
I'm asking you all these questions so you know how much I care about.
That's
Oh,
right.
Gee,
That's
Chris,
what I'm
you
saying.
just knocked it out of the park. dude.
Tim, as a producer, don't you hate when you ask a player, not talking about me or anything, but when you ask a player to play something, they give you attitude? You know what I mean? Like, hey, can you do this? And they're like, they are fighting for what they just did because they think it's.
You respect that.
I don't hate that.
You
don't
You
hate it?
respect that. Tim's a different guy.
I don't. I go. I
You hired the guy
usually.
for a reason.
I usually think. Wait a second. I hired the guy for that
Right.
reason,
Right.
and this guy really stands by it. 1st of all, I should.
Right.
I should give it another chance.
Oh,
Right.
interesting.
Right.
And then sometimes it's like I've given it the chance. Then I have to think, how can I say it in a way that doesn't feel demoralizing
Sure.
to the guy?
Sure.
But I don't hate that.
What about this?
You said guy. You didn't say guy or girl. Is that because you don't like women in the studio?
Because there's not very many girl session players. Just a fact.
Okay, so
just a fact.
Jesus, Tony. Okay, all right. I'm gonna add something
Edits
with. Oh, how
Tom's
about this?
neck
How
to make
about
now.
this? When I remember one time seeing a keyboard player. I won't mention any names. Just like you just said, Tim. He's just like, okay, well, I'm going to do this one with a little less reverb now, and then oh, I'm going to in the chorus. I'm going to go to this patch, and you know. It's like
Over-explaining
over-explaining what
what
you're
you're
doing. Just play it, and if we like it, we'll tell you.
Right.
And if we don't like it, especially, we'll tell you.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Just you're hired to make those decisions so
Right.
that the
The
producer
expectation
doesn't have
is
to.
that you are
Victor,
curating your part. Curating
Amazing
your
drummer
songs,
Victor and Drizzo, who we
Victor
love, love,
Victor
love,
has
love,
one he
love,
told
love,
me
love.
yesterday, Tom.
Yes.
How do you know right away you don't like a bass player?
Ooh, good one.
He has.
Good one.
Well, there's a couple things really. If they start asking me about the kick pattern, we're gonna
Yes.
play.
Red flag.
Red
what's the
flag all
lunch
day
plan?
long. And here's our artist, Chris
Mr.
Donahoe.
Tom Bukovac.
6'5". What
All
do you-
right.
You know, we talk about Chris Donahoe, how fit he is. Look how fit he is. Beautiful
Hey,
specimen.
Tom, you should get him to do a handstand,
Do a handstand
for the
on
homeschoolers.
camera.
That'd be amazing.
Come
You
on,
can do a
Chris.
handstand for the
Oh,
homeschool.
that's
Really?
52.9 thousand people will
All right.
see you do
Oh,
that.
yeah!
Do it on the table.
This is the greatest homeschooling ever. Come on, Chris. Holy shit.
Have you ever seen this before?
Unbelievable.
Wow.
Amazing, right?
God.
We suck.
That is incredible. Unbelievable. Damn.
All right.
You come over to my house later and do that?
Uncle Larry, or you won't do anything.
All right.
Hey.
This has
Sounds
been.
like Willie Nelson wearing his own tour shirt.
Yeah, I wear my own merch all the time.
That's the other thing I wouldn't like in a bass player. But a bass player could do a handstand. I wouldn't.
You wouldn't like that? Okay, so remember the old days when people used to think it was a really cool thing when the bass player and the drummer played the exact same thing on the bass and the kick drum?
Yeah.
Oh,
That's what he said.
I know, but like when that was phased out how many years ago? How
Depends on who you are.
well, it depends.
True.
Okay.
These are good.
All right, so we got
really
we're heavy on guitar players in this little conversation.
Here we are.
Okay. So I have to ask one in Patience the Guitar channel. This is getting pretty long, 25 minutes, but it's
It is.
good stuff here, entertaining. So biggest pet peeves in all of guitardom for you guys currently? I'm not asking you to cut anybody down.
Other
It's
guitar
not-
players?
No, just in all of guitardom, the guitar culture. What's something lately that's been driving you crazy in the guitar culture?
You know what? The way the internet has influenced what gear choices guys are making.
Right.
One thing that drives me crazy are the worship guys' pedal boards. They
Right.
go for the most expensive whatevers. Each pedal is the most expensive example of this.
Right.
Yeah.
That drives me crazy because
Right.
that doesn't hold up.
It's not even based on tone
Yeah.
or anything. It's just whatever. It most depends.
Yeah, like you're buying without listening.
Yeah.
It almost feels like it's a visual
Right.
exercise.
Right. What do you got?
I just keep thinking about the amount of gain that people use.
Gain, too much gain.
Yeah, like that one
Yeah,
bothers
too
me a
much
lot.
What I was about to say before Tim
Too much
Mara walked
always.
in and ruined the part where I was talking about you.
Oh yeah,
That was weird.
I was super
That was
happy.
admittedly
I was
weird.
so happy that
Okay, you
that
guys
the
probably
attention
tell
was
from
not on
watching
me.
this, I always think of you as a man beyond your years. 37, but you act like you're in a good way.
Yeah.
Old
80.
soul. Yeah.
Like, you're gonna get some deep conversation from this guy. You're gonna get some pretty heady observations. And I think that just comes from great inner pain. Am I wrong?
Should I tell you about my entertainment? You're gonna get some great observations from this guy, and I think it comes from great inner pain.
Yeah.
Comes from pain.
Of course.
Pain is the best thing about music.
Yeah.
I always say that. I can't stand it when you're hearing somebody play and you know they don't know nothing about pain.
Yeah, well, right. Like, I remember telling you one time, I go, Tom, music was my escape behavior as a kid.
Yeah.
And it was the place where I felt safe and protected, and now I'm doing it in all these situations that I feel like I need to escape, and I don't know how to mesh the two things.
All right. Bass, pet peeves.
Well, I hate.
Aside from what was just mentioned.
I don't like bass players who love bass. That for me is a red flag.
Okay,
You know what I mean?
I got you.
Like, if you love bass,
Why is a 5-string bass so hated in Nashville?
I don't know, because in the right hands, it's fine.
I never understood why it gets
Because
so...
it was played so shitty in the '90s in particular. I think in country
It
music.
got abused.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
No disrespect to anybody who played it.
We're still feeling the
I think we still have some
Repercussions.
The repercussions
You guys,
of that.
we're doing light lunch.
Slight lunch.
Yeah. Light lunch.
Chris, we're trying to have a fucking conversation.
Get some edamame, some dumplings, just a few things. Just snack.
Yeah. Perfect.
Sorry,
It's lovely.
Perfect.
And it's not every day that you're on a session with a sweet guy like that that offers to take the band out to a nice dinner after the session. I can't go tonight because I got my kids, and you
I know.
you know I want to be.
We're gonna miss you.
I know you know I want to be.
You're
There.
gonna be missed dearly.
Yeah,
But
I
it's
know
it's a
one of
treat
these-
because this band and Uncle Larry, they're amazing. They're an incredible band.
Thank
Chris,
you.
I know.
www.chrisdonahoe.com.
Yes.
Add
Do you remember? I told the homeschoolers about my boy.
You helped pitch Little Kids Rock, which is a
Yes, I
nonprofit
did.
music
Yes,
education
I
near
did.
and dear to my heart. You did
This is
sell
not a
that.
fucking
Thank
commercial,
you.
Chris.
I'm sorry.
Okay. This is.
I used to be on television. You see a camera, I'm on.
Chris, straight up, serious question. I know I always joke around. We're always. What are some of your favorite parts of my solos? No, seriously, I want to know. I know. Don't get all corporate with this answer. Give me the real stuff. Why do you come to Nashville? Why do you make your records here? Why do you hire these people?
Okay, first of all, I love the humanity of the players. Let me start with that.
Great.
Okay, I love the fact that the depth of the musical vocabulary. This is not a corporate answer. Is super deep, and I love that as a songwriter first, and a creator. When you give a song to the Nashville players, they get it. They know what to do with it. They know how to serve it. They know how to lay out. They know when to jump in, and they know how to take it to a place where I discovered, I've been coming here 20 years, they know how to take it to where they understand the emotion and how to express it with their own artistry. And it's the highly skilled craftsmen adding their big hearts into the process, and it's unrivaled or paralleled anywhere on the planet.
Wow.
And you've been all over making records. You've been all over.
Well, I did make a record in Madrid, Spain,
Nice.
a jazz flamenco fusion thing, but
Nice.
I've made almost all my records here.
Yeah.
Because once you get spoiled by this crew,
Well, especially this producer. You met Tim how many years ago?
I met Tim in 2011. It's been about 10 plus years. I met Tony right around that time too.
Right.
That had to have been a dark time for you.
Hey, I have a question for Chris. Chris?
Yeah, please. Yeah.
How good of a guitar player does Tom have to be that he can show up 30 minutes late every day?
Already drinking.
Already drinking. And while he's supposed to be recording, he's actually just doing his video for himself.
Yeah.
How good
It
is
is
he?
kind of interesting to think I'm paying him.
You're paying him for
Yeah, I'm only kidding. Tom's an amazing player, like you all are. But one reason I love Uncle
Thank you,
Larry,
Chris.
because I've only done a few records with him,
Right.
only a
I'm
couple
kind of
with
new to
Uncle
the
Larry.
group.
You're new to the
I'm
group,
new to the group.
but it's been a few years now.
Yeah.
But I have a song that you talked about on. We were doing pre-production on that
My
record,
boy.
and I played it on acoustic for you, and I said I wanted to capture this father-son, this powerful thing, but this intimate thing, and I wanted to feel a thing. I didn't know what else to say. I couldn't capture it, but I think I played it for you, and you felt it, and you laid down that acoustic thing, which you shared with your homeschoolers,
Yes.
and you nailed it. I mean, that was to set the tone for the whole song.
Very
And then
proud of that
Victor
record.
worked
It's a
around that,
fabulous
and
record.
Tony jumped on board, and it set, and you got it. I mean, you're a loving dad, so you understood where it was coming from, and that is Nashville.
Thank you.
That right there, being able to hear something and go, put the heart into it, and it's a beautiful thing, and I've seen that from every single one of you
Like
players.
being able to say, I don't agree with these words, but I'm still going to play well.
Now-
So Tim, let's talk about Tim, how amazing he is as a producer and player. Amazing keyboard player, but love having him produce because he makes it fun. He'll tell you to play in a character.
It is.
I love
He tell you
that.
to play. Okay, I want you to
Yeah.
think 1968. You got the ashtray on top of the upright piano, the cigarette smoking. That's the one. Yeah.
Get into character. That's helpful, right?
Yeah.
Because
Play like a hippie. Play like a hippie.
It's like
Yeah.
role playing,
And
dressing up.
he does it back to back to back to back to back.
Yeah.
Character change every take, and he will say that he's trying to get you unconscious about what you're playing.
Right.
All right,
He's
now
trying
play
to
with
get
your thumb.
you-
Lighter,
yeah.
lighter.
Like,
All right, now
there's-
grab the thickest pick you have
Right.
and just hit it as hard as you can. You're like,
we're moving so fast that your kind of conscious brain can't keep up.
Can't
so
keep
now
up.
you're
Yes.
just
right.
playing.
You sometimes get irritated with Tim. Tell me why.
Tim's one of my best friends.
And a brilliant conversationalist. Is he not?
Yeah, he's
Yeah, he is.
amazing. But
Brilliant.
I don't get frustrated with him.
You
do
you did yesterday.
Yesterday? I get frustrated with Tim.
when you can't read them.
No, I can read anybody.
You actually, I've never heard you say nothing but great words about Tim.
Oh, I thought you were really trying to dig something out here.
No, I know you love him.
I don't like his finished products. I like the rough sketch, and then I like usually the first couple passes when it's our ideas. Once he starts putting his fingerprint on it, I think
Yeah.
it gets
I
really
found
shitty.
that too. Yeah.
Sounds really vanilla.
Yeah.
But if you like that,
Yeah.
you'll love.
This is what you're hearing, homeschoolers.
Yes.
Is
Total
a
bullshit.
community
Yes.
of tenderness that is so
And gratuity.
alive and so healthy that the playfulness can come in this ribbing, in this
Oh,
jousting.
almost
It's
northern.
a beautiful thing.
It's a safe place.
It's a very
Safe
safe
place,
place.
yeah.
It's a culture and community of tenderness.
You know, can I tell the homeschoolers about that little? Stop me if this is too personal. Remember we had that little chat. It was me. This is Bobby Campbell, by the way, amazing keyboard player, who's on a group thread with us and never ever responds.
Right.
Ever.
Never respond.
As well.
But he plays some great synth. So remember we were saying, okay, can you just tell the homeschoolers about how you said you trying to live out and be clean?
Well, I mean,
Is that
like-
something you're comfortable sharing?
Yeah. I mean, like all of us, you know, I have
Engineer
my
colleague.
own pain and
Yes.
stuff I've been dealing with my entire
Yes.
life, and you know, it weighs me down and carries me, and for many years probably defined me,
Yeah.
and I have been evolving and working towards trying to see that grief and trauma for what it is. It's just a part of me, and what I want to live with and be and live with is the goodness in me and the goodness in all of us, and
Right.
live a life of tenderness and give that tenderness
Right.
to the people that I care about, the people I know, the people I don't, because that's what brings me peace and allows me to sleep at night.
Indeed. When you think back on a young Chris Donahoe, let's go back to 15. All right, let's go a little older, 19. When you start becoming a man. What would you go back and tell that guy right now?
You're good. Don't run away from your goodness.
Right.
See it, find it.
I'm gonna start crying.
Own it.
Stop it.
Own it.
Oh.
Own it. Don't be afraid of it. That's who we are. That's who we all are.
Right.
But the stuff gets in the way. You got to uncover it. And love yourself. It took me a long time to love myself.
Right.
To fully accept and love myself took me a long time.
If you could go back and tell 20-year-old Jerry McPherson something.
Learn to sing. Because if I could sing, I would not be here with you guys today. If I were a singer, I wouldn't be here.
If you can go back and tell 20-year-old Tony Lucia something.
Don't gamble.
Yeah. That dog will bite you. That dog will bite you. How about you, buddy?
Trust yourself.
Trust yourself.
That's what I'm
Phenomenal question, by the way.
It's a great question.
This is a great question.
Well, it's Tim Lauer. You got to weigh in on this one.
You're gonna look awesome in the dark rimmed glasses.
No,
Going.
this is what, I mean, I wish I could have told my 51-year-old self.
Right.
But the thing, whatever you think the thing is, that if you just have that thing, then it'll be enough, it will never, the thing that you think that is, will never be enough.
Okay, go deeper on that.
Well, like if say it's success, that success is always gonna feel like, yeah, but that's not as much as that guy.
Ah,
And if it's
Comparison.
gambling, if it's winning, that will never be enough.
right, comparison.
And if it's money, if whatever the thing you think is gonna fill it is not.
Right.
And if I can let go of that, it's so freeing just to relax
Right.
and then say, if I can think I did something I really enjoyed doing with people I enjoy doing it with, and then came home to people that I love, that, if I could let that be enough,
Fucking deep.
then there's nothing else can get inside my head and tell me that
Man,
it's
deep.
not.
Dude,
This is new news for
I'm
me.
feeling that shit.
You know.
Victor. 20-year-old self.
What Tim just said.
Yeah.
And I would add nope to dope and hug to drug.
No drugs, no gambling.
No drugs, no gambling. Bitcoin.
Don't trust.
How about you, Sean, our amazing engineer?
Disney Prince.
Do more drugs and gamble more.
Dearest Owen, head engineer?
Oh, take better care of diabetes
Oh.
when they have eye problems.
Holy shit. Okay. All right. I'm the only one that has an answer.
Yeah, Tom.
You're
You
gonna
go any home?
Let me hold that for you.
Been on camera.
Let's see. If I would, okay, what would I go back and tell a 20-year-old me? Oh, I would have heeded the advice that many have given me, including the main guy was Russ Paul. He said, "You've got to brand yourself. You're just going to be another great but totally anonymous session player." I've told you this because he told me that. You know, look, there's nothing wrong with being an anonymous session player, but in the end, you're an anonymous session player. You could play on 1,000,000 records, nobody cares, because you have never really given anything that anybody can hold on to of your own personality, right? So Russ was saying, and I said to Russ, how do you brand yourself? There's lots of ways to brand yourself. You could start your own band. You could make your own records. You could, I mean, what are all the ways a musician can brand himself? Write songs.
Well, you could brand yourself by not doing certain things.
Right.
Did you brand yourself, or did you just say, I'm going to be myself?
Well,
be myself.
I feel like I've, at age 52, closing the garage door after the car is already stolen. I finally figured out a way to brand myself through these silly videos, which was never supposed to be anything. It was just a joke. And it's like, but what it did was, you know, it sort of gave me some, at least a little bit of sort of outlet to, you know, talk about, you know, some of my influences and some of the things that, you know.
But it's you.
And
What
teach
resonates is that it's you
Teach.
being you.
Well,
right?
I didn't realize that I liked teaching so much, because I've always noticed, like, I love to show riffs to guys on sessions and things, but I didn't realize that I liked teaching on a sort of bigger level than that, right? And and then, like, how about the fact that I waited till age 52 to make a record? That's crazy, right? I mean, decades of people, Joe Glazer telling me, dude, you at least got to make one record, even if nobody ever hears it, just so your kids could at least know you played guitar or something, right? You know, so I don't know.
Do you think you play better now than you've ever played?
Yeah, definitely. And tell me if you can relate to this, Tim. I may have told you this. I think I may have talked about this. I think what happens to musicians is they age. Okay, you know how, like, when a rocket goes up in space, parts start falling off of it, and then by the time it gets up real high, all that's left of it is just the core thing that it needed to be. That's what happens. Like, when you start out playing, you'll play anything when you're young. Oh, I'll do that. Shit, I'll try. I might not be any good at this, but I'll try it. But after a while, what you will do and how you do it becomes more refined. And then by the time you're 50, you know what you're doing. You know what you won't play, what you will play. You're basically down to the core of what really is in there, right? Does that make any sense?
You've already reached escape velocity.
Yeah.
You don't need those other rockets anymore.
Exactly. All the boosters are gone. They're all down in the ocean somewhere. But I don't know. Does it make any sense?
It's beautiful. What do you think, homeschoolers?
Like and comment. Smash that like button.
Smash
Yeah,
that
smash that like button. Be sure to subscribe. Turn on your notifications.
Anything else that anybody wants to add to this epic, almost hour-long?
Did we just make the first 3-part
Dude,
homeschool
no, I don't
video
think any
ever?
video has ever exceeded 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Anything else that he wants to add?
That's a bad sign.
It's a pleasure
I
making
do-
music with you.
Oh, thank you.
Tom,
Yeah.
I do agree with you that things just narrow down to the essentials.
Yes.
And that could be gear. That could
Yes.
be the amount of notes. That could be the amount of talking about music. That could
Yes.
It could be our essential goodness.
Right. Right, indeed. Thank you, Chris, for having us on this album.
Thank you,
I
Tom,
know
for
that you have many
playing.
choices.
Thank you, all you, for playing.
You have many choices when it comes to air travel. Thank you for hiring this band.
This is a great band. I mean, my goodness.
All right, back to work, guys. I'm hitting the red thing. All right.